Hello everyone, my name is Yuri Kasdorp from Mouse, and we are back for week 7 already with the GT Sprint series, and we are at Montreal. And as you can see, very wet conditions at Montreal, which on this track where you need to use a lot of curb usually, a lot of braking zones as well. It's very tricky. I think it's more tricky than most tracks, so let's get into it, see how we not just drive fast, but even survive around this track, because I think even surviving will get you some decent results this week. So let's get into it. So here we are, last sector of a very wet, grey and sad looking Montreal, but that won't stop us from having some fun. We're running race field as usual, and try to really survive a lap around this track, because it's very tricky. And a lot of the braking points as well, they depend on how wet the track is. And this track here is getting very wet. So we're braking early. Try to focus on getting some nice traction. Again, braking early for second chicane as well. Trying to have the car straight by the time we hit the curb on the right side. Trying to take it easy into here as well, avoiding the curb on the left and the right side. Straighten the car up for a bit of traction. Then braking early under the bridge. You can hit the curb on the entry a bit. I don't like hitting the curb on the apex. Then I like to hold it a bit wide here. Get the car turned around. Straighten up as quick as we can. I'm going to run to the last chicane, which is very difficult in the wet. I'm braking right at the entrance road. And then we cut the right side. Try to keep the speed up. And that's a lap around Montreal in the complete wet. Let's have a closer look from the outside cam. Right, so here we are from the outside cam. As you can see, I like to start my lap from the left side, so that we have the car straight as possible in the braking. As you can see, braking really early. I don't like going all the way to the right side, because it's a bit more wet on the line there, just braking a straight line to the apex here. I like hitting the apex, not going all the way around, because we're going very slow anyways. Same for turn 2. I don't like following the curb, because you can see there's a bit of standing water, but at least going into the corner, just hitting the apex. Then trying to set up for a nice exit. Just straighten the car up before you go on power. And then common trend you'll see just on the brakes very early here. Keeping it on the racing line, just very easy. And then on the exit here, you can take this curb on the exit, but the car will lose grip immediately to take it. So make sure that by the time you take it here, you don't have to turn much anymore, or you're gonna clip the wall exactly there. And again, off the throttle really early to keep the car stable through here. Braking early again, and as you can see, try to avoid the white line. I just tipped the white line, and immediately the rear of the car steps out because I did that. So you want to avoid the white line into the corner there. Avoid the curb on the left and the right side. And then slow in and try to get the traction to go flat out. On the racing line there, there's quite a bit of grip. Then for here, what I like to do is cross over the white line to the left side. There's a bit more grip on this patch than there is on the track. So I like to cross over and then cross back over. But as you can see, it is quite tricky. With the moment you cross over, you lose a bit of grip. The alternative line is not close to the white line, it's a bit further to the inside, but you compromise the entry to the next corner quite a lot. And then we clip the curb a bit on the right side. I'd like to avoid the curb on the left side because it's very, very slippery. Then again, avoid the curb on the exit and the white line actually. I like running a bit wider here when it's completely wet, so I'm not just hugging the inside and then braking on the racing line. Braking a bit more in the middle of the track I found has a bit more grip. Then for the hairpin, I like to just turn it around completely on the inside. I don't run wide on the exit because I want to have my car as straight as possible, as quick as possible, to go back on the power. And if the car is exactly straight, we have the most traction, so we can accelerate the quickest. And then you think, I've almost completed the lap, but the trickiest corner of the whole lap is yet to come. So I like to brake early, again around the 4, but it depends a bit how wet it is. And there's not really enough road here to avoid the curbs and the wet parts. So we have to go over it, and that means that the car is very unpredictable going over the curbs, but the line that you take is just so much better, that's still worth it. So we go onto the curb slow from the outside, try to hit the curb on the left and the right side, as you can see. But what we try to do, because it's very, very slippery, is that the moment we go onto the curb here, we try to have very low inputs. So not just low steering input, but also low input from the pedals, so brake and throttle. So when you go over here, only about 40 to 50% throttle I'm using here. Then going over the next one, as you can see, low throttle, try to keep the steering inputs minimal as well. And just try to keep the car going in a straight line without changing the behavior too much. And then on the exit, you want to avoid the curb on the right side as much as you can, but going over it a bit like here is not too bad either. And then you want to straighten the car up as quick as possible again for traction. And that's the lap around Montreal. Let's have a quick look in the last corner with the Coach Delta to see what inputs we use there, and then we finish the lap. Right, so here we are in the Delta app. Selected our fastest lap, and we can look in the last chicane here. As you can see, we can't brake very hard on the wet, so only 50% brake, and slowly going off of it. Very long braking zone. Then for the throttle through the chicane itself, throttle and brake, no brake input in the chicane itself, very, very low throttle in the middle, and very, very slowly bring it up again. And for the steering, see as well, but try to steer as little as possible, Then we have the direction change, go to the left side and try to hold it pretty steady. You can adjust a bit with your wheel, a bit more, as long as you don't turn the car itself. For example, if the rear starts stepping out a bit, you can use your wheel and quite quick adjustments on the wheel to keep the rear in check, but don't try to adjust the direction of the car too much with the steering. So if the front is loaded, you can't use the wheel too much. If the rear starts to slide, you can, of course, use a couple quick actions to keep the car going in the same direction. But in general, just be very low of the inputs when you're going over the curves, because there's not much grip, and any big inputs will make you lose grip, and once the car starts sliding, you only lose more and more grip. So that's it. That's a lap around Montreal in a very, very tricky wet conditions. Right, so there we are, another track guide done. Very, very tricky, but also very rewarding when you get it right. And I think once you get the flow here, it can be very nice to drive and keep knocking off the laps and getting close to that wall of champion in the wet, like you're seeing here. It's tricky, but again, very rewarding when you get it right. I wish everyone good luck if you dare to race this week. And if you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to the channel, and we will be next week back again with another track guide.